Loud versus Olimpo Squad, old versus new, the behemoths versus the new blood. We are on a Rico double ban here on Gold Arm Gulch. That's
okay.
Good to see. Left hand side has the first pick, still decided to ban out Brock, which is someone who's picked up quite often as first pick, because you can decide if you want to open up or not. They're going to go with RT instead, and RT in any other region has been the most picked up brawler on Knockout. We have not seen him at all today.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're an RT on defense, what can a bull do? You know, I think that will still be a question to answer later on in this draft because, again, the walls, the biggest of the considerations here, realistically. I think the spike, like Uber says, could definitely be a shower here. I think the Rico ban doubling down is quite interesting, though. Chuck still going to be available here. These are brawlers that are still so hazardous. I mean, Melody also, there's some big defensive ideas coming forward. There's going to be Cordelia still to play.
Meeple.
There's a lot going down here.
Yeah, Meeple, Spike, still a good option. You can index into the throwers a little bit if you should so choose. Obviously, yeah, there's Spike. So he's going to get lapped up here. I wonder if Olimpo Squad will feel like they want to fall into the trap of playing, you know, someone like a bull into one of the most effective defensive brawlers in the game. Someone now also who, with a hypercharge, RT can ignore those walls and be really punishing once the gas starts to close in. So that does give you a nice option. It is one of the most commonly picked brawlers in this game mode ever. And surprising that we're only just starting to see it here in South America. But it's nice to know that Loud are paying attention to what's going on in the rest of the world. What do they follow up with this? Because they're composite. Okay, so they do get a thrower in here. That still does leave the door open to something that hard engages on the side of Olimpo Squad.
I'd like to see Gray on the right-hand side now. Into that tick is going to have pretty good matchup, can pull him through the wall, can open up the map, and it can potentially just teleport onto him. Left-hand side still has one pick left, though. We already talked so much about Bull, Spike, and Chloe. All three of those have actually slipped through the ban, and only one of those has been picked up. I do like the Mina pick, has a little bit more mobility than the Bull. In the end game, she also can just cover herself in her bubble, you know, her gadget. Yeah. It's going to be super strong, but still surprised that we don't see Bull, honestly.
I mean, I don't mind not seeing it in some ways because, I mean, we saw in EMEA, you know, for esports, quite happy to leave Bull open and play into it and actually spend their time in their practices and their scrims like working how to handle it and counter it. Mortis to be the final pick coming in then for Olimpo Squad. Okay. You have to have something to match the Mina in terms of agility, right? And something that's going to be a hard brawler to kind of hit. So quite like it. I feel like the tick obviously going to be quite a prime target, just the RT. And that's the one brawler which the Bell is going to have to really focus a lot of time on.
Yeah, I do think so. You want to try and outmatch RT at range. It's sometimes surprisingly difficult to do that against that brawler. I always feel like I'm surprised by just how long RT's range is when you think you have the edge. Another sharpshooter that might be able to beat him in that regard. So Loud are going to take up residence on this left-hand side of the map early. Meliodas, of course, is going to be looking for the tick, but has to respect the last hurrah. Life Plant's going to be handy, at least to get the stage ground forward for this Mortis, but Meliodas cannot commit until he's sure he's going to be able to make it a trade up for Olimpo Squad in the ensuing brawl.
Tick head for Adinio. That's going to helping hand any Mortis aggression. So now with the reverse polarity, waiting his time, does find a nice connection there to Kaido. Just be cautious and dash away from Meliodas. It's good. Now things start to get hairy. The gas cannot be far away, and Meliodas knows it, trying to get into an advantageous position onto this tick.
I mean, great from Olimpo Squad here to not give the map for free to this tick composition. Meliodas is always trying to play forward. Brabao also is able to get some of these reverse polarity shots and have to bounce around. Be a bit of a nuisance in general. Good footwork here again from Meliodas. Life Plant used just in case, but Golden got caught out. That's the struggle for Spike, who just doesn't hold his own all that well at range. But Mina's been picked off here. Oh, almost for Meliodas. It was close, but Brabao is still standing, and the gas will do his work for him.
That was honestly absolutely ridiculous, and I thought that Meliodas did so well there. Great stuff. It's going to be Olympus with the first round. Hypercharge for Brabo. This is a nice thing to connect there onto Kaido because he just continues to tap in. Hypercharge, tick head on the right hand side, going to not really do too much in all honesty. Now Kaido bringing himself round to helping hand Firecrow, but these bell shots are ricocheting, and Loud has got to be cautious here.
Yeah, the map is opened up a fair bit, but Meliodas doesn't seem too bothered. He's going to make use of the remaining walls. He was going after the Mina. Firecrow, though, has an unexpected burst of damage that allows the Mina to succeed there, and this round is done. Brabao, all alone, even made use of that super. Reverse polarity, that was a very cute little bouncing shot there onto Adinho, but unfortunately too little too late.
Okay, so all tied up then in terms of the rounds. I'm liking the way that Olimpo Squad, they were handling themselves at this early stage. They do need to do that against a team like Loud and assert themselves. You know, trying to get some of these connections. He's going to need something of a defensive maneuver, and Meliodas now capitalized down this early outset of the round. I'm sure, though, with the gadget, it didn't can defend with Kaido as well. There are some things which can cause a big problem for him, but now the tick head, it gives him some options.
And again, I second your opinion of how Olimpo Squad are playing, even with an opened up map. Meliodas maybe made an incorrect judgment call to go after the Mina in that previous round, but in general, the Mortis play has been very, very good. Always generating some degree of threat. Firecrow, though, might want to go after Meliodas here, putting some pressure down across the map. Some shots coming in from Brabao, forcing the gadget out of the Mina. Meliodas had to dash away from that hit.
Oh, Golden down to 305 HP. Meliodas trying to create some space here and go on the aggressive. The Might Outstairs welcome, and Golden still goes down. Oh, the hypercharge, the art is choked. Absolutely choked. Loud get the round in just the nick of time. That's going to be a first game going their way. What a disgusting end to an otherwise pretty balanced start.
Yeah, what the hell? What is the Spike doing here? Bro thinks he's on the team. It looks so difficult for Golden to get value. And in fairness, they've been picked into some pretty brutal lane matchups on this, road through these monthly finals already. But just walking into tick mines, just really struggling to put himself in a part of the map to be impactful.
This is kind of what I was saying about being surprised that Spike's been so heavily globally banned. I mean, it has always been a brawler in this region that's been quite prevalent, but nonetheless, I just don't know whether it's necessarily still that great. And I always kind of have the same argument about Kerbal. At this level of gameplay, and this level of caliber of player, do you have struggles duking Kerbal? Should you?
Also, you can just outrange the Spike if you need to. Okay, life plant there. That was okay. Very aggressively positioned towards Firecrow. He'll go down the curveball. In fairness, here's Meliodas. Time to collect. He does at least respect this last hurrah, but comes back for a second bite at the apple, and he'll have his fill. Good start for Olimpo Squad.
But didn't choose to just kind of, linger the tick around and just kind of, just build a utility. I mean, they just want to get it done, clearly, but I feel like that was a bit of a missed opportunity, really, to gain that advantage going into this next round. But Liverpool just want to keep this pace going here. And have a reverse polarity. We'll find Adinho there as well. Lovely connection there. The hypercharger is first time.
Yeah. Fortunately, Adinho shrugs off the shot before deploying the tick head. Okay, Firecrow. Dashing it away. Meliodas is descending. The mark on the Mina made it easy for Meliodas to take them down. And now Adinho has to give up most of the map. Kyodog is a strong wind away from being blown out of this game, but is able to heal up on this right-hand side of the map. They are, and they will be, marked, though.
Meliodas knows that Adinho is the perfect person to go for, but is able to get into a better spot. Just the right time. Kaido has got to be careful here. If he can just buy his time until the gas comes in, it might give some options. Go down. Oh, no.
That was nice.
No. Lovely stuff. Yeah, Meliodas is playing a fantastic Mortis. These gadgets are really on point.
Yeah, double dash through, and then he sent that lifeblood back behind him. Just sort of drawing out that RT super and making sure he wasn't around to get caught up in the damage. Okay, we've got ourselves a proper game here on Gold Arm Gulch, folks. Let's head into our decider set of rounds as Olimpo Squad are able to fight back.
Really nice stuff, honestly. I'm really impressed with Olimpo Squad, how they're handling themselves. I think these early moments are quite key, quite pivotal to see that, because we saw with SKC earlier today, they just were taking so long to get themselves warmed up, and even then it wasn't that convincing, whereas I feel like this could be really, really good. Let's see. Meliodas on that left-hand side, trying to find Kaido in amongst that healing time, but not really the person he wants to be on, really, is it?
There's some spike value being generated here, I will say. Golden's able to get him out in the open. I'm not sure about the... I like the aggressive life part to set Meliodas up, but it kind of telegraphs where the Mortis is going to go. Golden, super, essentially blocked out by that Mina shield. Here comes Meliodas. Okay, hits the gadget, stays alive. I don't know how much longer, though.
Go.
I think he walked into that mine arc, I'm not going to lie.
He had to. I mean, Kaido was going to be getting the Duke around. He had literally nowhere to go there. Bravo as well, going to be caught out, and Firecrow should be able to get Golden taken care of, if not from Dino or anyone realistically here. And around going the way of Loud there. Nicely done. Quite surgical in their approach there. And that was much, much better. Now this is quite a key moment. Olimpo Squad have got to slow down the pace realistically here. Trying to bring this to the third and final round. Judge for Dino on the left-hand side. It's going to be in a very good spot realistically as well. But there is the... that's what I'm saying. It's dangerous. They're so dangerous.
Okay, well, that Spike finds key elimination. It's all down to Kaio Dog. There was a hypercharged super thrown up there by the Tick, but I think a couple bell shots bounced off of the Tick head onto the player themselves, which is the price of doing business with the gold hand leader.
The problem here is you can't really allow Kaidog to get any value off this, because if an RT gets a hypercharge and there's 3 players that he could potentially be getting target practice with, despite the gas being so far away. If I'm a Olimpo Squad, just leave him to it. Just let him go into the gas. Do not give any shots over. Doing pretty well to Duke them, but there again, like Kaidog's got a decent amount of value off the back of that, realistically. And it was a 1 round no matter what. I'm just worried for this hypercharge potential now.
Yeah, you already had 2 brawlers with super, and I think feeding more to super off that poke scenario doesn't really matter. He's going to build super easily enough when he dives in. Anyway, about here, mindful that Firecrow is starting to encroach on that right-hand side of the map, but Meliodas is going to get there and make sure many of those Mina shots are dodged away from. Golden is still sitting on a hypercharged super that will of course be empowered by the Buffy. And there it is, hypercharged super guarantees a mark onto Kaio. That's a great target to connect with. Maybe the Mina are more preferable, but still, the tanky RT now will feel much less durable.
Meliodas there had to use bats on defense to get back on himself. Bravo, got to be cautious there on that top right as well. Over 3,000 HP. Ticket coming in. Tanked there by Meliodas there, and the life plant for good measure. Bravo as well, marked up by the RT shots. And again, I'm still looking out for this potential of a hypercharge for Kaidog. He's struggling to earn it so far though.
Yeah, and he's marked, so his time in the sun will be short when push comes to shove. Meliodas tries to dive on the RT. He'll still have to reckon with the super, which is scary. Okay, well, Golden draw hypercharge super in the middle of the map. Yep, Kaidog ceased to exist. He was absolutely burnt to a crisp, but Meliodas is a little bit too low here, and yes, Firecrow and Adino are the last 2 standing. That is the first set of series locked up. Loud convert on a pretty strong start, despite Olimpo Squad showing a lot of their quality over the course of that game. The Spike looked uncomfortable at times, and ultimately Meliodas did not have the durability to weather the storm of that poke damage and get in for the kill.
Big celebrations there from Loud, and I think deservedly so. I mean, that they know just how important it was to get that round and to put themselves a set up to start things off. I think this is far from done. I think Olimpo Squad are really showing some great signs and displaying some fantastic draft knowledge for me. I know you weren't the biggest of fans of the Spike, but I think that nonetheless, I'm kind of keen to see
you! Both of us! That's crazy, bro. Damn, bro, just as the curtain comes down, he leaves me hanging. We're both dubious about it. Sonny, back me up here.
I mean, Spike is historically bad into any thrower, so I'm siding with whoever said Spike isn't going to be the greatest of choices.
I mean,
here.
there's a thrower, and Loud threw a whole round, so they're all throwers.
It was a 2-1.
Mom, Dad, please stop buying.
Loud takes game 1 very convincingly. We had some super good moments here with the RT, and that's exactly why he's so strong in knockout. Not only as a super good super for when the field closes in, the smoke comes in, also super good hypercharge for that same exact reason. Just gets 1, maybe 2 free kills in the end there. Second round, Olimpo Squad looked a lot better, and then Loud just said no anyway. It was a 2-1 overall.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely potential though. I've seen a lot of teams place against Loud and just not really have any moments of glory, whereas there definitely were in that set for Olimpo Squad. Again, it's been such a long time coming really for these players on that roster to really demonstrate that they are worthy of making grand finals. They've just been teetering last year realistically for me, so I think it would be right, and I think it'd be an amazing result to do that against Loud of all teams. But Loud there with the first set in the bag, it puts them off the mark, and that could be a tough thing to bounce back from.
Yeah, look, Loud have dropped sets. They've dropped, series to many of these teams, but ultimately, they have a body of work that spans years. So they're always at World Finals. I think this has been an amazing notch in the belt to take if you're Olimpo Squad, but man, it takes a lot of work. It's not enough just to try and surprise your opponents in the drafts. And it looks like, I mean, the spike's been picked up straight away. We talked about Ring of Fire, right? It's the kind of map where your area denial becomes that much more valuable. You will still find yourself struggling, though, against throwers.
We spoke coming into this into this match about Spike, Chloe, and Bull being all left open, slipped through the global bans, and all being super strong in the current meta. Spike picked up once more, Chloe banned out, Bull still left open. We have a lot of counters open though as well. Spike is one of those actually. Chester also left open. He has such a big amount of area control, such a big amount of damage. Would be both really good, and I would pick them up here. Finks is going to be picked up first though.
Is this really your
He has
best?
always been super good on hot zone. It's his most played modes. Standing in that hot zone in the middle and being able to dodge incoming shots thanks to your super just makes him one of the best bowlers in hot zone.
Art talked a lot about curveball being very dodgeable. What about when those predictables are slowed down even further? I feel like no one has any excuse to get hit by that. In that case, once Finks gets that super down. Also a really powerful hypercharge where Finks can deploy that slowing field or the accelerating field for his own team's predictables, and also has one around himself at all times, making him far more tanky than you otherwise would think. The ball has gone through, folks, and the Grace. And they have a delivery system for this extremely overtuned tanky brawler to run headlong at Loud.
This was the thing I was concerned about, was the amount of grey that the Olimpo squad love to play. So combining those two things together, there's definitely some options here with the loot coming in now as well. But the biggest of options really to tank, a lot of this, heavy HP coming in would be the Pierce, which is globally banned. So the loot is probably the best answer they can have under the circumstances. I think the Finks now really going to have to work a lot of overtime, and again, just not allowing the grey to get set up. I think that is the play here. Once those dimensional doors are locked in and they get some favourable cycles, this could be a really tough thing for Loud to have to take care of.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why Bull is globally banned in many series and a bit of a problem, and now you obviously have a nice core built around it. Lou is decent against tanks, right? You can guarantee a lot of those hits. If you could stop Bull in his tracks, you have done your job well. But Prabal's not going to make that easy. Already trying to get into the cookie jar. Taking some damage from Kaio Dog, but he has claimed a lot of map control here. That shield now active, but eventually he will be poked down. I do think that you want to rely on the grey to get you where you need to go as this Bull, because being caught out in the open does mean you'll just be farmed for supercharge.
So yeah, Kaio Dog got some good value there. The pitch was pretty nice on Bravo now. Fargo dancing away on that right-hand side, giving an inch to that Bull.
Well, he's got map control now.
Well, he might not have it for long. At this rate, nice freeze there. Kaio Dog getting some good value yet again, but down to 615 HP. I mean, there's not really much that Loud are doing in terms of the battle, but it's the objective that they're really thriving on.
Okay, Prabal is able to dive in there with that super and hit that stop gadget. Look, gave a lot of space here, and still Loud, despite this, are 67% ahead. That is just how far behind Olimpo Squad got early on in this round. Okay, here comes Prabal yet again. Throws it up though inside that hypercharge. He's still got the health to go on in and hits the stop. Firecrow ceases to exist, but Adinho in the meantime has just ignored Prabal and gone over towards the point to try and capture it. Prabal close to being slowed up there. There's a Finks super in play. Adinho obviously with that hypercharge making him almost impossible to hit.
Golden's having a really tough time here. He's not really finding much value, and he's the best person really to be playing into the ball here. But now with the TPs, this is where the Greys is helping hand Olimpo Squad so much, but they are still behind here with Adino off the zone. That's quite crucial. There is now time potentially with a hypercharge for Golden to bring this back. They've got to land every single shot. Now the hypercharge comes out. Firecrow trying to move around the situation here, down to 2,000 HP and cycling. It's great from Golden. That's the time to bring the fire.
Adinho doesn't have a super right now. He's going to be taking all the damage. Meliodas with a TP forward gets healed up as well, and this now puts Olimpo Squad in the lead. But Firecrow turns up. Fist of the Brawl Star to the face of Olimpo Squad, and Loud eke out a close victory.
What a ending. That was absolutely nuts, especially when everyone just popped at the end of level 1 player still standing. But yeah, it was a tough situation for Golden. He did so well as well to come back as he was struggling all game. Got the hypercharge, made it count most importantly, but just a couple of percentiles. The Olimpo Squad will look at a game now. Look at Loud starting to really steam ahead. But a lot of that was just purely down to how much time they banked early on.
Prabal again, same approach. Move up the left-hand side of the map and get close. Adinho has to respect this now, and doesn't want to dodge this Meliodas damage, but Firecrow could be the cat amongst the pigeons here. Yeah, not much Grey can do about it either. I really think the Kaze is a difference maker in the draft I mean, the Blade Storm is very impactful to blind people in the middle part of the map, but you also have sick gap close ability. There's so much work that you can do now as a Kaze in the backline, and Firecrow is not going easy on them.
But now, oh yeah, not the ideal person to target really, is the Firecrow can just dash away from this and just keep tapping along. Oh, it's going to be a trade, but nonetheless, it doesn't really matter for Dino and Kaido, who've been doing so well in this mid. Oh, I like the preemptive life plant there as well, but it didn't quite work out. Golden again, I think he's had a lot of death.
It's been a rough day, hasn't it? It's tough. Firecrow here with Hypercharge at the ready. Is able to survive that onslaught, and I don't think Olimpo Squad are getting remotely close to this hot zone right now. Inside the fan storm, Meliodas rather can't see a whole lot. At least Loud have been shifted off the point for the time being, but Kaidog has a hypercharged super. That's instant stun for anyone caught inside, and Brabao was the unlucky one. Still, Spike super is going to be a problem for Loud. They're going to navigate that. Adinho steps forward, pops Golden, love the work, and unfortunately, it's only a trade that he can get himself. Meliodas too low to fight Kaidog, and this will be Loud getting up north of 90%.
It's taken all this time to get the Grey set up. This is the whole point of bringing in the Grey with this strat, is that you're able to keep cycling people onto the zone. If you get the dimensional door set up at 90% on the objective for your opposition, you're not doing the very thing that you drafted it for. And just a bit of a disappointing end there for me, for Olimpo Squad, and Loud really might be starting to tear away with this one.
Okay, well, I mean, I really think they're demonstrating their quality as a team. So deep in this tournament bracket already, quite deep into the semi-finals, they're looking very, very good. Olimpo Squad have that individual talent. It's there in spades. I think the draft got away from them a little bit. I don't want to see this Spike getting first picked anymore. They might be the only team that's really valuing it that high, and it looked okay at times here. But I don't think there's quite enough to back up the bull pick.
Yeah, I'm with you, totally with you. I love that. Everyone gone. Firecrow, the last man standing. It's good. I'm not saying that Spike is not definitely up for consideration at the moment, especially now with so many bans. That's what I'm kind of realizing since the global bans, is that we start to really whittle down options as we go through the motions. So I think Spike is always going to be good since the buffies. Definitely been pulled back slightly. And yeah, I mean, Golden got 10 kills for his time, but I mean, I think a lot of the kills on the other side of the field were as a result of targeting on him. But yeah, tough match for Meliodas, tough match for Brabo. Loud, though, they just look like the team to beat today.
Yep.
We were so scared of that bull pick, and in the end it was shut down by a really good draft from the side of Loud. It was kind of like the old guard of Hot Zone here, with the Lou being really good in Hot Zone overall. Finks as well, we explained why, right? Just being able to dodge those incoming shots while standing in the zone. Lou's super good because you throw your circle over the other circle, and nobody can actually ever step into it. So those two have always been really good in Hot Zone. And then on the right hand side we just pick meta. And in this case it did not work out. The Spike and the Bull recently received their buffies, but it's not strong enough. Sometimes comfort picks and picks that are just good on the mode are still the way to go. This time around we actually have Bull banned out, Spike is left open, and Glowy actually available as well. We have Rafta's first pick on the right hand side. He's one of these very solid brawlers. You can put probably on every single map in the game right now, picking his first pick.
I think you can feed, Hypercharger. That's a very desirable ability. Also, against certain compositions, these sandbags can be surprisingly powerful. It's not bad here. Again, Ruffs does not like to be dived on, so the Mortis pick is oozing confidence from Loud. And you've got to be mindful of sort of how you pick into this, right? If you're going to take a brawler that's more control-based, or, is less all-in, they probably need to have some hard disengage tool, or at least like a lamp blowout or a friend zoner type ability. You need to have an answer to the Mortis. And how do you build around this, right? You need some solid damage. Glowy gets picked up here. I just think by the numbers, Glowy's a great math brawler, right? Powerful healing, reasonable damage that doesn't require you to refresh shots. You just make sure you tether to an opponent, and they're the ones that have to break line of sight. It's really annoying. That damage from Glowy up front isn't a whole lot, but the fact that you need to get out of line of sight, or you take that damage in perpetuity, is really frustrating.
Third and final pick coming in now for Olimpo Squad. And if they're going to bring it back at any point in time, it's going to be here, realistically, with the Glowy. Lily?
Based.
But is it?
Based.
Lily's whole purpose is to kind of like go off and do her own thing, right? So you're not going to have much of a connection with the Glowy other than the Ruffs. I mean, Glowy works a lot better with kind of more tanky comps as well, and I mean, you're not going to have time to attach to a Mortis that's going to be coming, towards you, and in a super aggressive fashion. I'm just not really sure that the Glowy has the most to work with.
You know the best part about Mortis, though? To come towards you, he has to face you.
True.
So look at you. That's pretty good for Glowy.
But then he can just carry on afterwards.
That's true. You have to blow him up. I do think that this comp is going to require Meliodas and Brabao to play very close together.
Potentially, Glowy is probably going to be the gem carrier on the right-hand side. Lily has that comeback potential, snack away the gems from the other side if they have it, but into a chest, so that's going to be a tough cookie for him. Poker is going to be the last pick here, probably also gem carrier on the left-hand side. With the two healers being gem carriers, that's so interesting, but Glowy has a definite range advantage in this matchup.
Yeah, I think that what's so powerful rather about Poco, first of all, is like that healing over time afforded by Gadget. Also, Screeching Solo gives you that extra damage, and a hypercharged super that gives overshield. That matters a whole lot because that is a way that you can interact with your Lily, who is deep across the map, right? Here's Brabao, and emerges, and Adino just pops, ceases to exist here. Good damage here from Golden, but it's going to find himself, in a position where you've got to use that dash gadget away, and I'll tell you, bro, that's super annoying to deal with. To break that Glowy tether, you really have to give up a lot of space. It's almost like you lose map control to not be tethered, so that's annoying.
Yeah, it's normally like a brawler which I'm surprised it escaped through the draft, in all honesty. I'm just curious to see how it's going to work in terms of the synergy and whether they can continue this up and whether Loud can sort of start to break it up a little bit more, because where they're thriving at the moment really is by just herding Loud around the map. I mean, you've seen Loud already having to really maneuver themselves into some really odd spots.
Clever.
Nice takedown there as well, just preempting that Lily's awareness. Now hypercharged like Dog could cycle here as well. Pretty disgusting if he does. Or Bravo comes in, but some good value from Loud here nonetheless.
How did Olimpo Squad have any gems left at all? That is crazy. We did a cycle of a hypercharged super from Chester. Somehow they're able to stay safe. Golden eventually, though, must succumb. The hypercharge from Firecrow is going to give no choice as to whether he wants to keep those gems in his possession. It's a Dog will walk away, and I'm afraid the Glowy Tether is not exactly the most threatening way to try and tempt your opponents into a fight with you. 3 seconds, Brabao needs to get those gems loose, but Firecrow is ready, willing, and waiting to take the Lily down.
I think that when you consider just how strong Glowy is and how Loud are making it look so easy, that says to me a great deal, realistically, here. I feel like they are just handling it really, really well. It's just, again, like I said, not really helping too much for the majority of the time. The Lily, not really going to be there to tether to, and at least go the aggressive. I think that Loud have got an answer to everything so far.
Yeah, Lily's very manageable, is the truth. Yeah, Brabao has a super, and Dog's going to get taken down by tether, so now we'll have to see a double back from the Mortis, who doesn't want to be carrying any of these gems anyway, so no hurry for Firecrow to go deep. But remember, we are talking about one of the most mechanically talented brawlers in this region, someone who has held that title for a long time. And Meliodas once again gets fed into the wood chipper with the Mortis in the back line, and eventually Firecrow comes back.
Golden does know, though, that when you're tethering your teammate in the bush, that you're just showing up the position, right? That is something he's aware of there.
I'd say so.
I hope so, but like, he didn't seem to be worried by it. I don't know whether that was the plan. Loud so far, 7 gems in the pocket, and still looking so good here for me. Firecrow getting some more gems, hand them over. We might have to try to get a strategic death here, to be completely honest, to be able to hand them back over to Adino, because he's not really the ideal gem carrier.
Yeah, not at all. Firecrow is all in, doesn't really want to expose those gems to any danger of being picked up. Now, though, doesn't really have any choice but to play back a bit more passively. Does see an easy target. I mean, Ruff struggles with Mortis. And there, look at the hype charge super coming out of the Poco. Firecrow got a nice little bit of overshield. Brabao, though, has a hyper of their own. Loud up to 8 gems, though, and Firecrow might end up being the gem carrier by the end of this round at this rate.
Either wants to go for that gem, but the hyper charge of Bravo is right, coming in so aggressive. Adino now completely out of touch. On that right-hand side, going to go down, and 14 gems. Olimpo Squad to steal the moment away.
I mean, that's the power of Lily, especially under hypercharge conditions. Dog there, it's most of his health taken away before Brabao even used that gadget. What's the Mortis going to do here? Firecrow doesn't have enough health, trying to go after the Glowy, but it's not to be. Nice game here from Olimpo Squad. Finally, digging their healers in. Moments from elimination.
Is it too little, too late? That's the question for me. This next game is a must-win. If Olimpo Squad have got any chance of having a say, Loud is still match point and still got every opportunity just to seal it in a 3-0, honestly, and go to the grand finals.
Definitely have every reason to be confident in this Loud squad right now. But I like the Lily game. That was pretty impressive from Brabao. A little hard here as they're very low. Maybe DeCarpo picked up here by Edinho for better healing. If that were the case, probably would see more spam here. So Screeching Solo, the star power of choice. There is that glowy super. Shuts down Firecrow, but he doesn't mind. He's going to feed his brains out if it means he can pressure the gem carry.
5 for Dino now. Firecrow back in and immediately getting some great value, opening up the entirety of that right-hand side with that takedown of Brabao. Golden, tethered.
Bro, so
Gotta
annoying.
find some angles here. Oh, there's a lovely bounce there. Just to secure it from Meliodas, but still, Loud looking so confident, made up some good early time in this game. And look at the way that they are shadowing Brabao. They know exactly where he is half the time.
Brabao still healthy. Hypercharge at the ready. Edinho, though, was able to avoid it. But the rest of Loud just got clapped. So now Olimpo Squad have a chance to fight back into this round. Kyodog just got vaporized there. Base tanking far too much damage, and the Lily was still in the bushes. Brabao is a problem that has to be dealt with.
This is where Loud are going to struggle because they need to get Brabao out of here now into the realm. They're going to follow into the right-hand side and just guessing that he's going to be there. And already he's just over everyone. It's the 3v1 at this present moment. Something he's currently winning goes down now. This is where Loud have got to get back in the map.
No, the Lily's dead. This is the time to go forward, but they've given up 2 gems, or rather, they've given up the lead to Olimpo Squad. They've gotten up to 8. Brabao has hit another hypercharge. Kyodog blown to smithereens. Edinho lucky not to be the target there. And Golden has a gadget with the heal attached. Firecrow can't get towards the glowy. And Edinho's going to go aggressive, tries for a Screeching Solo play. I respect the tenacity, but that damage gets shrugged off all too easily by Olimpo Squad. Kyodog's going to come forward here. Hypercharge just needs to build a super. That could be impactful, but Brabao is a huge issue. There it is, though. Meliodas taken down behind enemy lines. Up to 9 gems go Loud. Golden's going to come forward, but there's those last 2 back in his possession.
That was risky from Medina. I would have preferred to see that hypercharge used in the final push, but there is still time to earn more back even now. Opening up some space. They've got to go on the aggressive. They need to take down now. That he'll reach. I think the he'll even reach Firecrow on the right-hand side. And he goes down immediately. There was a chance for Loud to actually rekindle what was once lost and still were not able to come back with the goods to seal it. It's going to go the distance, it seems, so far, or at least for one more set.
Remember what I said about Lily? It's based. The pick played out pretty darn perfectly. Brabao, crucially, was able to connect a couple of hypercharged supers over the course of those multiple rounds to get those gems nice and dropped. Glowy's also kind of busted. Really powerful. The fact you have a brawler that has a heal, that can do damage, that has a dash, that has a stun, all built in. Plus there being a burst heal component on the dash makes them really hard to deal with. You can't run at them, you can't chase them, you can't leave them alone, you can't outrange them a lot of the time. Golden as a healer, 403 DPS. Pretty good.
Very strong 16 kills on that Lily that you really looked forward to popping off, and
Good.
Brabao did indeed. Regardless of all that, though, Olimpo Squad didn't look too happy in their camp just now. They're still so locked in. They still have to go a long way. It has to be sweep at this point to still make it to the grand finals. This just now has been the first set, though. Loud has lost today. It always looked a bit shaky in the quarterfinals. They dropped a game in every set they won, but it was a 3-0 in the end. This is now looking a bit shakier, despite Olimpo Squad playing with the subs.
I feel like, for me, that set was just so heavily dependent on Brabao just going absolutely nuts on the Lily.
Yes.
And they can't have that in every single set in which they can try to win against Loud. It's going to be a team effort. And, you know, they can't always guarantee that those assassination-based brawlers are going to be even available when it comes to the draft. So if that's how Olimpo Squad are trying to win themselves over Loud here, I'm just not still sold. I need to see a bit more of an overall team synergy.
Hideout, though, obviously a bit more of a wider map. Some longer sight lines here. We can really start to work in some of the sharpshooters, but I'll remind everybody, Pierce is global banned. Mortis is going to be the pickup straight away here. I do like this a lot. It basically says, do not pick roughs. We will absolutely clap you. But, you know, Bell's also been banned away, so you have to go further and further down the list of sharpshooters. God forbid there's an RT pick here. Let's try and stay a bit more entertaining than that, guys.
I was waiting for a Kaze first pick. She's banned out, so Mortis is doing the same thing as her, picking up that blue star at the beginning. And usually in Bounty, if you can pick up blue star, then lean back, charge your supers, don't go down, you've won the set already. Let's see if Kaido can do just that on that Mortis. On the other side, we now come in with a lot of DPS, and that's exactly what you want to have into a Mortis. What I'm kind of waiting for right now, we have a lot of those supporters banned out here with the Glowy, the Byron out of the way. Gus would be still an option that is picked up so often. He's just a well-rounded brawler at the moment. Yeah, maybe Gus.
Leon for me is just being underutilized, and globally banned here is one of the best places for him. It's just a shame really to not see much of that particular brawler today. Bo going to come in, which definitely is one of Loud's biggest brawler picks. It's the number one in scrims, 76% win rate for them, so just taking it off their hands I feel is like the play in that regard. But so far this Mortis is dangerous, but I feel at the same time they've got some good defensive measures already. Gonna have to have something to either heal it, or I wouldn't even mind necessarily a gene in that regard. I think it's still very handy, no pun intended, but just to have something of a helping there. Gus could be a good pairing as well. But certainly it's, that's what they're going for. Then it makes a lot of sense. Some speed as well, wouldn't mind it. It's a bit avant-garde, but or again, that gene would be a good combination.
Room for a tick here potentially, or some kind of thrower on these kind of maps as well, something that could punish the shorter range spike. You've got you've got the delivery system for the shield. Kyodog obviously can benefit greatly from the Gus. You can try and find something here that's just broadly powerful. Pick up the Colonel Russ for yourself. If you look across the map, there's a pretty decent use case here for that hypercharge of Ruffs. Decent damage, of course, bounce those shots off the wall if you're a side laner and get a little bit of extra range.
We're going to see something aggressive also on the right-hand side now. Maybe a Mina, maybe a Kenji, just something to fight that Mortis. Left-hand side, we have two supporters. Ruff's just overall good. Gus will enable the Mortis to go even more aggressive. And again, they have the blue star, so they can just play it slow at the beginning at least. Right-hand side now, the SA special of the day. Pearl, a brawler we have not really seen in any other region, picked up today more often than any other. And Pearl, she's good into Mortis, I guess. When she has a super available, when she has the heat charged up to the max, she's going to do pretty well into that comp on the left-hand side. Let's see if this is going to be the comp that wins Olimpo Squad another set.
I think, in all honesty, that's the three of the most boring brawlers you could have.
It's like, honestly, like my eyes are actually like crystallizing and falling out of my skull seeing it. I get it, honestly, but I really don't see how the Pearl furthers Olimpo Squad's game plan. It's sort of just this something that you don't want to dive. Okay. That's fine. I think the bow here, obviously, with this now empowered super totem, is just really strong in these longer rounds. The longer this bounty round goes, the more value, the more supers you're going to be generating off that gadget, unless Firecrow does like this, goes up and destroys it. Meliodas just clapped Kyodog's cheeks, by the way. That wasn't even close.
Yeah, and Loud were really just kind of leaving it wide open to happen. Firecrow and Athena just really focused on that right-hand side. And as such, his man, that's a lovely combo spinner there from Firecrow. And it would be enough to get the lead and the blue star and come back now as well.
He spun up in front of that life plant as well, not caring the world. I won't say he did the math to know that he wouldn't destroy the life plant, but still, that worked quite well in Firecrow's favor. It makes him look very smart. Right. Let's double back here, of course. Is that field promotion for Adinho here? Okay. On the longer rounds, you've got something to try and answer Loud. I do respect it. Give Olimpo Squad a reason to fight you. 3-star lead here for Loud, but they have no map control, and those sandbags are doing some heavy lifting.
Yeah, Kyodog just kind of feel like he walked into that a little bit. Maybe could have been able to avoid it just a tad. Let's see, as it's still Loud in the lead with that blue star, but yeah, interesting choice of star power.
Promotion.
Not sure I'm overly sold on it. They're not really hunkering down too much at the moment. They're just kind of split, so it's a bit wasted.
I mean, you don't need the wall break, I guess, because you don't have any real sharpshooter. Why would you want to open up the map more for this bow, I suppose? Either way, his upcharge super! Adinho is able to get out of it just in time. Grabau here, though, could be a bit of an issue. Starting to spread a lot of that damage with the life plant to play from behind. Don't worry about it. It's completely ignored by that spinner gadget from Firecrow. Now, 2-star lead, 10 seconds left. Meliodas knows he's got to come forward and get aggressive. There's a hypercharge here for the bow. Firecrow's going to have to be quick to dodge away from those mines. He does avoid them for the most part. Where's the damage? Where's the kills here for Olimpo Squad? Nowhere to be seen. Firecrow gives him a drive-by at the end of the round just to rub it in.
Meliodas there, popping hypercharge towards the end, but didn't even use it because he knows it's the worst hypercharge in the game.
Not great. It's not great.
It can still work. There's still some options here for Olimpo Squad. It's not over by any means, but so far I feel like they're not rushing nearly enough. If Adinho is going to be utilising this star power and Ruff's to be increasing that HP over time, then the counter to it really is just kind of rush. And the problem with that is the Pearl can't really overheat enough to be able to go on the aggressive Kyodog though, with low HP as a result of that first early blow. But, it's not really a rush-based comp. I mean, Pearl's one of the slowest brawlers in the game.
Yes. Very slow. There's Meliodas. Unfortunately getting brought down. Kaidog able to find a second there. Might have been a Cookie Popper involved. And now Field Promotion starts to do its work, increasing that maximum HP of all of Loud's brawlers for as long as they can stand close to Ruffs. I think Firecrow was extra tanky for a time. That extra 2,000 HP makes a difference when you look to dive in. Kaidog's been zoned out of the fight and can't actually reach his Mortis with his super right now, but Firecrow doesn't seem to care because he has the life steal sustain of that life blood, and there's still a trade enabled by Loud.
Firecrow is just looking so dangerous on this Mortis pick, and it just doesn't matter if you play Spike for Olimpo Squad. They're always having a rough game with it, so, I mean, at that point, you just have to go, do you know what? Let's change it up. This could be over in a flash. Kaidog there tries to get a Hypercharge connection to Firecrow, 14 stars and the blue. It's still the Olympus Squad. There's time here potentially to get a turnaround. If they can get some kills, Firecrow's going to pop all those mines like it's nothing.
Yeah, again, you can dodge out of the way of those mines before they detonate, so many of them get cleared by the Mortis. Still going to respect the Bow's upfront damage here, but Firecrow chooses not to do that in this case. It's questionable, but still a 6-star lead here for Loud, heading into the last 30 seconds of the game. No supers of note here, though, for this squad. We'll have to work with them on their own. There's a Firecrow Hypercharge picked up, and that allows for a 1-for-1. Doesn't necessarily favour Loud. In fact, they give over an extra star, but they seem to be happy enough trying to get the 20 stars to end it there.
Can be done for Olympus Squad here. They need 2 players to take down 7 stars is what they need. There's a couple here, 5 down, but Loud will seal it before it's even close. And that is it for Olympus Squad. They will not see the grand finals. Loud looking like a team to beat here today. They will proceed and already better their results of last month.
I'm sure just one more set of picking Spike and I would have been convinced. That's all I needed, honestly. I was so close. Just pick one more set. Unfortunately, Olimpo Squad aren't going to have that opportunity. Cower definitely feels the bitterness of that result. Felt, you know, obviously incredible, I'm sure, taking down Eternal, but this is a tough wall to run into. Many have failed where they also